Millions of Muslims recite Surah Yasin after Fajr every day, believing it brings special blessings and protection. But did you know that many are doing it the wrong way without realizing it? In this video, we will uncover the truth behind this common practice, explain what Islam actually teaches, and guide you on how to recite the Quran with correct intention, knowledge, and sincerity. Watch carefully, because understanding this could change your daily worship completely. Many Muslims grow up hearing that reciting Surah Yasin after Fajr is a daily necessity. This belief is often passed down through family traditions, community advice, and social media reminders. Over time, it becomes so normal that people rarely question its source. For many, this practice is linked with hopes of ease in life, protection from difficulties, and success throughout the day. Because it is widely practiced, people assume it holds a special fixed status in Islam. As a result, missing it can even create guilt, as if an essential act of worship has been left undone. In Islam, there is a clear difference between what people commonly practice and what is established through authentic teachings. Cultural habits often develop with good intentions, but they are shaped by repetition rather than proof. When a practice spreads widely, it can slowly gain a religious weight it was never given. Authentic worship, however, is defined by guidance from the Quran and the teachings of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Acts of worship are not designed by communities or scholars based on preference. They are preserved through revelation, ensuring that devotion remains pure, balanced, and pleasing to Allah rather than shaped by tradition alone. When scholars examine acts of worship, they rely on authentic sources such as the Quran and verified narrations. In the case of fixing Surah Yasin specifically after Fajr, no sound narration establishes this practice as a regular requirement. This does not reduce the value of the surah itself, but it clarifies its position. Islam is precise about worship being evidence-based. When a specific time, number, or method is assigned to an act without proof, it risks altering the way religion was taught. Scholars therefore caution against attaching guaranteed outcomes or special status to practices that lack clear textual support. Following the Quran and Sunnah correctly means aligning beliefs and actions with what Allah and His Messenger taught, not with personal preference. The Quran provides guidance, while the Sunnah explains how that guidance is lived in daily life. Together, they form the foundation of Islamic practice. When Muslims prioritize authentic teachings, worship remains balanced and protected from exaggeration. This approach also creates unity because people rely on the same sources rather than individual interpretations. By seeking knowledge and verification, believers ensure their devotion is built on clarity, obedience, and trust in the divine wisdom behind Islamic rulings. Reciting the Quran is always a source of reward, regardless of which chapter is chosen. Every letter brings blessings, and this mercy is not limited to specific times unless clearly stated. Understanding this helps prevent misunderstandings about special guarantees attached to certain recitations. Reward in Islam is connected to effort, presence of heart, and respect for the words of Allah. When people believe reward depends only on a particular surah at a fixed time, they may overlook reflection and consistency. The Quran was revealed to be read, understood, and lived by, not treated as a shortcut for instant results. Sincerity is the soul of every act of worship in Islam. An action may appear small, yet become great in the sight of Allah because of a pure intention. Without sincerity, even frequent acts of devotion can lose their value and turn into routine. When recitation is done to please Allah alone, it nurtures humility and strengthens faith. This mindset keeps worship free from showing off or chasing specific outcomes. Sincere intention also allows flexibility, where a believer worships out of love and awareness, trusting Allah's wisdom rather than relying on formulas or expectations created by people. The Prophet Muhammad ﷺ guided his followers to begin their mornings with remembrance that was simple and consistent. These remembrances focused on praising Allah, seeking protection, and asking for guidance for the day ahead. They were easy to remember and practical for daily life. By following these authentic morning practices, believers start their day with clarity and reliance on Allah. This routine builds spiritual strength without burden or confusion. It also connects the heart directly to the teachings of the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, ensuring that daily worship reflects his guidance rather than personal assumptions. When an optional act is treated as mandatory, it can quietly change how people understand religion. What was meant to be flexible becomes a source of pressure, and worship starts to feel heavy rather than uplifting. This can lead to unnecessary guilt when a person misses something that was never required. Over time, such assumptions may distract from true obligations that Islam clearly emphasizes. People might focus more on maintaining invented routines than fulfilling confirmed duties. Protecting the boundaries between what is required and what is optional helps preserve balance, mercy, and ease in the practice of faith. Knowledge in Islam is the foundation for correct practice and sincere worship. Acting without understanding can turn good intentions into mistakes or exaggerations. The Prophet Muhammad ﷺ emphasized seeking knowledge as a form of devotion, showing that clarity matters more than mere repetition of rituals. When a believer learns the reasoning and evidence behind acts of worship, every action becomes meaningful and rewarding. Knowledge protects against following hearsay or cultural habits blindly. It empowers a person to distinguish between authentic guidance and unfounded practices, ensuring that devotion is rooted in truth, understanding, and the pleasure of Allah. True blessings in life are granted by Allah to those who act with awareness, sincerity, and adherence to His guidance. They are not earned through routines or habits repeated without understanding, no matter how widespread they are. Blessings come when worship is performed with correct knowledge, reflection, and consistency in following the Quran and Sunnah. By focusing on authentic practices, a believer aligns actions with divine wisdom, increasing both spiritual and worldly benefit. Allah rewards effort combined with sincerity, not mere repetition. This reminds us that the value of worship lies in quality, devotion, and obedience, not in assumed formulas or shortcuts. Remember, true reward comes from following the Quran and Sunnah with knowledge, sincerity, and reflection, not just repeating routines. May Allah guide us all to worship Him correctly and bless our mornings with light, peace, and barakah. At Graceful Deen, we encourage you to share this knowledge with others. If this reminder benefited you, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Comment below with the positive prayer. O Allah, guide me and bless my worship, and make it part of your daily routine.